The moment the little girl stepped into the glass-walled corporate office, clutching a worn brown envelope to her chest, the entire room seemed to pause. The two sharply dressed executives exchanged amused glances, already assuming she was lost or confused, and the receptionist hesitated as though the girl didn't belong in a place built on profits, power, and pristine marble floors. But the child stood there with surprising determination, her backpack hanging loosely from one shoulder, her hair slightly messy from the walk, and her shoes coated in dust. She looked fragile, but her eyes carried a silent courage that didn't match her age. In her trembling hands was the envelope everyone would soon wish they had taken more seriously. If you believe kindness and second chances can change the world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The girl, whose name was Leela, had found the envelope the previous afternoon on a park bench near her school. She almost ignored it, thinking it might be trash, but a small corner of paper peeking out caught her eye. Inside were documents she couldn't understand, a ring that looked too expensive to be casually misplaced, and a folded picture of an elderly man smiling with a cane beside him. Leela had seen him once near the bus stop, gentle, quiet, and alone. She didn't know his name, but she knew the envelope didn't belong to her, and something in her heart wouldn't let her walk past it. After asking around for hours, she discovered that the logo printed faintly inside the flap belonged to a major financial firm downtown, one run by men who never had time for people like her. The executives chuckled politely when she stepped up to their table during a meeting, as if they were humoring a child's fantasy. They leaned back in their chairs, confident and relaxed, already predicting the story she might tell. They expected a silly misunderstanding. Maybe she found a chocolate wrapper or someone's discarded mail. Maybe the girl was trying to return something trivial and imagined it was important. Their smiles were the kind adults wear when they are certain they hold the upper hand. Leela placed the envelope gently on the polished wooden desk. The men's smiles widened, but only for a moment. One of them casually opened it, intending to reassure her and send her away. But as soon as his eyes scanned the documents inside, his expression tightened. The easy amusement faded. The other man leaned forward, and both stared at the contents like they had unearthed a secret treasure. Inside were ownership certificates, bank drafts worth millions, and a notarized letter naming the true beneficiary of a vast estate. The ring alone looked priceless. Leela's small voice trembled as she explained how she found it, how she walked from place to place trying to return it, and how she hoped the owner wasn't sad or worried. The room grew quieter. The executives listened with newfound seriousness. In their world, wrong hands could have meant fraud, stolen wealth, or family chaos. But here stood a girl who could barely afford new shoes, carrying an envelope that could change someone's life. One of the men asked her again where she had found it, as though her honesty was too pure to be real. Then, as the weight of the moment settled, the glass door behind them slid open. An elderly man with trembling hands and a cane slowly stepped inside. Leela's breath hitched. It was him, the same man from the picture. The executives immediately stood up, no longer confident, no longer amused. The old man wasn't wealthy in appearance. His clothes were simple, his posture frail, and his steps slow. But when his eyes landed on the envelope resting in front of Leela, tears instantly filled them. The executives exchanged a look of astonishment. They had mocked the idea of a little girl bringing something important into their world, yet the real owner himself had arrived at that exact moment, led by worry and desperation. He had been searching everywhere since yesterday, believing he had lost the last memories and legal documents tied to his late wife. Those papers were not just evidence of wealth. They were pieces of a life he wasn't ready to let go of. The entire office seemed to soften as the old man reached out with shaking hands, overwhelmed with gratitude. Leela smiled shyly, unsure how to react to emotion so heavy it made the room feel like it was holding its breath. The executives suddenly felt small, realizing that the child they laughed at had done something more honorable than they had in years. They thought of profits, prestige, and power, while she thought only of doing what was right. Moved by her sincerity, the old man insisted she stay. He told the stunned executives that integrity mattered more to him than wealth, and in that moment, they witnessed something rare, a millionaire who valued character over possessions. The old man didn't ask what she wanted as a reward. He simply said that goodness should not go unnoticed. What Leela received that day was not money, but something far greater, opportunities she had never dreamed of, support her struggling family desperately needed, and a promise that her kindness would never be forgotten. As Leela stepped out of the building, the envelope safely returned. The world felt bigger, brighter, and more hopeful. She hadn't just returned something valuable, she had restored something much rarer: faith in humanity. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps these emotional stories alive. Special request: before the video ends, comment below, kindness still exists.